भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता।
Jai Shri Krishna. I bow down in the lotus feet of Sri Hari and Param Pujya Sri Govinda Deva Giriji Maharaj. On behalf of Geeta Pariwar, I, Dr. Pooja Sharma, welcome you in interpretation session of first chapter, Arjun Vishad Yoga. Let us take prayer first so that the negativity gets removed and the positivity will come. For prayer, I would like to invite Navneet Ji Goyal Ji from Jaipur, Rajasthan. He joined Geeta Parivar in November 2022. Currently, he is giving seva as technical assistant, group coordinator, co-trainer, examiner. Welcome, Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna Didi, Jai Shri Krishna to everyone. We'll start with the prayer. Vasudeva Sutan Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishna Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishna Vande Jagadgurum Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you for your prayer. Now, move on to the Deepa Prajwalan. I would like to invite Srimati Dipti Konhalikarji. She is from Pune. She joined Geeta Parivar in February 2024. Currently, she is giving seva as technical assistant in L2 and Kids batch. Welcome, Didi.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you so much, Didi. Because of your Deepa Prajwalan, this evening has been enlightened. Important announcement from 8th November, the new L1 batch is going to be start. So for registration, click on reg.learngeeta.com. And if you want to share this Vivechan Satra YouTube link to your family friends, you can. Now it's the most awaited part of the session is Vivechan. For today's Vivechan Satra, most respectful, most senior Sri Vikas Vaidya ji is with us. He has given Geeta Kanthasikaran exam at Shrungeri Pit and received first prize with the hands of Param Pujya Sri Jagadguru Shankaracharya ji. He is a trainer in Geeta Parivar from L1 to L4 and also involved in a trainer selection and trainer training for L1 to L4. He is also trainer at Vishnu Sahasranam Stotram as a member of Geeta Parivar. Bhaiya is also guiding Geeta Vrati to prepare for Shrungeri Pat Geeta exam. He recited all 18 adhyayas of Geeta ji every day sincerely since last 5 years. Bhaiya is from Pune and last 12 years he is NRI. By profession, he is having his own IT small business. He is BE and PGDBM. He is knowing Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, Spanish languages. Now I request Bhaiya to enlighten us with his knowledge.
जय श्री कृष्ण। पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन। We are studying Adhyay first, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna's Vishad, sadness, distress will start in a few shlokas from now. Last time we covered shlok up to 10th, I think. So we'll start with shlok number 11. Ayaneshu tu sarveshu yatha bhagamavasthitaha bhishmamevabhirakshantu bhavantas sarva evahi. Ayaneshu. Ayaneshu means the strategic location. Ayaneshu. The military is always positioned at strategic locations so that it can attack the enemy in a good way. So Ayaneshu. Sarveshu. Everywhere. Yatha bhagama. Bhagama is differently. Yatha as differently arranged. Avasthita. Avasthita is established or situated. Abhirakshantu. Abhirakshantu is to give support or to protect. Bhavanta. Bhavanta is you, your good self. What we say in Hindi, aap. So that aap is Bhavanta. Sarva. All. So this shloka says, Sanjay is describing everything, that Duryodhana said, all of you. Now see, he is telling Guru Dronacharya, and see the language. All of you take your positions in the respective places to make sure that Bhishma Pitamaha is well protected and well supported from all sides. So he's almost instructing his own Guru Dronacharya, that all of you, including you, Guru Dronacharya, you take your positions in respective places and make sure that Pitamaha Bhishma is well protected, well supported in all situations. Now, instructing master soldiers and war wizards, like versatile in strategies and tactics of battle, exposes Duryodhana's arrogance. To instruct his own guru, it definitely shows his arrogance and maybe the nervousness also. He was nervous. Directing all of them to protect Bhishma at all costs, he is instructing. It makes even more clear the element of doubt in his mind about Bhishma. This is another way of looking at it, because Pitamaha Bhishma has had a soft corner for Pandavas. In fact, he tried several times to tell Duryodhana not to enter into war, because he knew that we are on the wrong side. But Duryodhana did not budge, and the war was to start. So he had this doubt that Pitamaha Bhishma, in the heart of heart, is like to support Pandavas. So he should be kept watch on. Maybe this is the reason. He said, all of you be protective to Pitamaha Bhishma. Actually, Pitamaha Bhishma hardly needed anybody's protection to protect him, because no warrior could equal his fighting excellence of Pitamaha Bhishma. A doubting man who is doubting his own senior commanders. This doubting man is, of course, Duryodhana, he is doubting his own senior commanders like Pitamaha Bhishma. He can hardly be an ideal leader in the war. How can you doubt your own commanders? And if you look at it from non-political view, it may also mean that Duryodhana wanted to genuinely, honestly protect his senior-most warrior, Pitamaha Bhishma, in the war. Because if the senior-most commander of the army falls down in the attack from the enemy, then the whole army goes haywire. So to protect the senior-most commander is also a strategy which is followed in the war. And this is also probably the reason that Duryodhana is asking Guru Dronacharya to protect, support Pitamaha Bhishma from all sides. Now, having said that, we go to next shloka, shloka number 12. Tasya sanjanayan harshang guru vruddha pitamaha Simhanadav vinadyav chai shankhan dadmau pratapavan. Tasya. Tasya means his Sanjanayan. Sanjanayan means nothing to do with Sanjaya. Sanjanayan means to increase, to elevate, to uplift. Harsha. Harsha is cheerfulness. Kuru Vruddha, the senior-most in the Kuru dynasty. Kuru Vruddha, that means Pitamaha Bhishma. Simhanad, roaring sound like that of lion. Simhanad. Vinadya, vibrating. Uchchai, very high level, very loud. Shankha, Shankha is conch shell. You sound the Shankha, you blow the Shankha. That Shankha is conch shell. Dadmo, Dadmo is to blow. And Pratapavan is someone who is very impressive. Now Pitamaha Bhishma, he probably saw that Duryodhana is getting nervous. So to boost up his moral, to boost up his cheerfulness, what did Pitamaha Bhishma do? The Pitamaha, the mighty grandfather of all Kauravas and Pandavas, sensing Duryodhana's nervousness, and to boost Duryodhana's morale and to please him, he blew his conch very, very loudly. He blew his conch shell very, very loudly and making the sound like that roar of a lion. Simhanad, Vinadhyachai. Now the sagging moral of a king, in this case Duryodhana, who is present on the battlefield, particularly when it has been sensed by his generals. When it has been sensed by his generals, like Pitamaha Bhishma sensed it, the sagging moral of the king, it can work like a hole in the bottom of a flag warship. If the warship has a hole at its bottom, what will happen? It will sink. So Pitamaha Bhishma, the veteran soldier of distinguished eminence, he captured this moment and he decided to boost up Duryodhana's moral and injected the booster dose by blowing his conch shell, filling the sky with its roaring sound. The whole atmosphere was filled with that huge loud sound of Pitamaha Bhishma's blowing the conch shell. Now blowing the conch shell is anyway very beneficial. I do it every day. Try this someday. When your mind is restless, which most of the time is, try blowing the conch shell. First of all, you will have to take a long deep breath. Fill up your chest with lot of air. Because the sound will be produced only after the long forceful exhalation. The sound from the conch shell gets produced when you exhale. So you fill up your chest with lot of air, lot of oxygen, and then when you exhale forcefully through that conch shell, it makes that huge sound. And the sound that emerges from conch shell, it resonates in the forehead, here in the forehead, and the sound vibrations produced have a deep effect on your body, particularly your lungs and the nervous system. So to boost up and to keep your lungs healthy and to keep your nervous system in place healthy, it is a good practice to try and blow the conch shell every morning, 3 times. So on seeing the discouraged, nervous Duryodhana, grandfather Pitamaha Bhishma, he blew his conch to alleviate his fears and to instill some kind of confidence in him. What happens next is Tadashankhaschya bheryascha panavanaka go mukhaha sahasaivaabhyahanyanta sashabdastumulo bhavat. Once Pitamaha Bhishma, he blew his conch shell, tata, thereafter, Shankha, conch shell, Bherya is large drums, what we call in Hindi, dhol, nagade. So that Bherya, Panava Anaka is small drums, kettle drums, or some instrument like Mrudunga. Gomukha is the horn. Sahasa is suddenly, all of a sudden. Abhyahanyanta started sounding. Shabda, the combined sound of all the instruments which were played suddenly. Tumula, tumultuous. Tumula, very, very loud. abhavata, become. So when Pitama Bhishma, he blew his conch shell very, very loudly. Soon after that, the war hysteria, it engulfed the Kaurava army. Everybody in Kaurava side got charged up with the blowing of conch shell by Pitama Bhishma. And the other conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, horns were all sounded suddenly all together. And the combined sound produced was intensely blustering and thunderous. Now, in those times, along with the weapons and the artillery, musical instruments too were brought to the battlefield, which is not done now, but those days. The loud booming sound thus played by the instrument, it used to create and instill great confidence even in the weak soldiers. Even the weak, feeble soldiers also used to get charged up with that sounding of musical instruments. We experience this on every 26th of January and 15th of August. When the songs of patriotism and nationalism are going all around on radio, on TV, on FM channels, everywhere, then we also get charged up with the national spirit and the spirit of patriotism. The musicians gathered at the battlefield, they would create this thunderous, moral boosting sound like we experience. And this was done before the start of the fight, before the start of the war. Having done that, at the end of the day, because in Mahabharata, the war used to get played between Kauravas and Pandavas, morning, sunrise till sunset. After sunset, ceasefire till next day. So after that ceasefire, after the sunset, the same musicians used to gather at the who used to gather at the battlefield. What they would do, they would be playing the calming music or the soothing music for the injured soldiers. During the day, hundreds, thousands of soldiers would get injured. When they are resting in their camps, these musicians would go and play the calming, soothing music for them. This calming music would act like a healing balm for the wounded soldiers. So music had very important role in the battles for those days. What an interesting usage of music during the war. But then it used to be a righteous war. War used to be fought based on some certain rules. And that was being fought ethically with some kind of integrity, wisdom, and rules. Unlike today's wars, when the enemy can enter into your residential area and can start bombing the residential areas as well. This was not done in those days. That's why Kurukshetra was selected, so that all residential areas do not get harmed due to war between Kauravas and Pandavas. His place was to get used to get selected, in this case Kurukshetra. What happens next? 14th. Tadashvetairhairyukte mahadisyandane sthitau madavah pandavaschaivo divyau shankau pradadvaduhu. This shloka needs clapping from all of us, because this denotes the entry of Lord Krishna on the battlefield. Tatashvetairhairyukte, thereafter, Shvet, white, Hai, horses, Yukte, being pulled, Mahati, Mahati is great, Syandane, Syandane is Ratha, chariot, Sthitau, Sthitau is situated, Madhava, Lord Krishna, Pandava, Arjuna, Divya, divine, Shankho, conch shell, we know it, Pradadmatuhu, to blow. Thereafter, something happened which charged up all Pandavas. What happened? As this clamorous sound on one side, a great chariot drawn by the pristine white horses, Shvetairhairyukte, entered the battlefield. And who was there in the chariot? Lord Krishna and Arjuna were seated on the chariot, and then they sounded their divine conch shells. So this is the entry of Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita on the field of Kurukshetra. So what a beautiful description in this shloka. See, although Bhagavad Gita is Lord Krishna's divine song, but it is written by Maharishi Vedavyas, and he wrote it down from his memory. Try to visualize. Try to visualize. Imagine in front of you the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and imagine the scenario through your heart. The celestial white pristine horses drawing the grand chariot, grand Ratha, and seated on this chariot is our beloved, magnificent Lord Krishna. In his yellow satin clothes and beautiful peacock feathers adorning the bejeweled crown on his head, his face beaming with lustrous radiance, a dazzling smile on his lips, which normally we see any photo of Lord Krishna, you see he has a typical smile on his face, always smiling face, and immersed in sheer bliss. What an enchanting and pleasing sight that could be. Lord Krishna entering the battlefield. Now Shri Krishna is holding the horses of the chariot. He is performing the role of a charioteer, while Arjuna is standing at the back of the chariot, at the back of the Ratha. Such a chariot, it entered the battlefield, and Lord Shri Krishna responded to the sounds emanating from the Kauravas' camp by blowing his own divine conch shell. Lord Krishna sounded his own conch shell, and it goes without saying that the resultant sound resonated everywhere. Paramatma sounding his conch shell, it will resonate the whole world, obviously. This divine sound, it instilled great enthusiasm in the generals of Pandava's camps, and they too started blowing their conch shells afterwards. So blowing of conch shell from Pandava's side was started by Lord Krishna, and then after Arjuna. You go to next shloka, 15. Panchajanyam Hrishikesho Devadattan Dhananjayah Paundran Dadmau Mahashankham Bhimakarma Vrukodaraha. Panchajanyam Hrishikesho. Panchajanya is the name of conch shell which was blown by Lord Krishna. Hrishikesha. Hrishikesha is of course Lord Krishna. Devadatta. Devadatta is the name of conch shell which was blown by Arjuna. Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is Arjuna. Poundram. Poundra was the name of conch shell blown by Bhima. Dadmo is to blow. Mahashankam, very, very big, terrific conch shell. That Mahashankam was of Lord Bhima. Bhima Karma. Bhima Karma, a person who performs very huge Herculean task, is Bhima Karma. Vrukodara. Vrukodaraha, someone whose udar, whose belly, whose stomach is so big that he can eat anything at any time and whatever amount. He is always hungry. He can eat anything, anytime, in whatever quantity. So Vrukodara, person having a very, very huge amount of hunger all the time. So Lord Krishna, he blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his conch shell known as Devadatta. And Bhima, the performance of Herculean task, he blew his marvelous, huge conch shell called Poundra. Now Shri Krishna's conch was called Panchajanya. And what a befitting name that was, Panchajanya. Panchajanya denotes the composite of 5 symbols. When a sound is produced, this becomes possible with interplay of 5 elements. Sound vibrations travel in air. Air exists in ether, that means sky. The fire element plays an important role, integral role in this. The 5 elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. They constitute the entire manifest world, including not only your body and my body, but even the body of Lord Krishna. It was consisting of this Pancha Mahabhuta. Moreover, there are 5 sense organs. We have 5 Jnanendriya and 5 Karmendriyas in our body. Hence, a very apt name of Panchajanya, denoting all these 5. Now, Arjuna's conch shell was named Devadatta. Deva means divine, Deva, and virtuous. Arjuna was of a pure and noble disposition, which justifies the name of his conch shell as Devadatta. This conch was given to Arjuna by King Indra when Pandavas they performed the Rajasuya Yagya. On the other hand, Bhima, who was physically very, very strong and robust, his conch shell was called Poundra, which produced a frightening and monstrously huge sound. So the conch shells reflected their individual personalities: Panchajanya, Rishikesh, Devadatta, Arjuna, and Poundra, Bhima. Scriptures, our Adhyatmic mythological literature, it describes Arjuna as embodiment of Teja, or Panchamahabhuta. All Pandavas are symbols of Panchamahabhuta. Arjuna representing Teja, and Bhima embodiment of Vayu. Vayu in storm, Vayu in cyclone is very, very destructive, like the characteristic of Bhima. Bhima was very destructive. So there are stories in scriptures comparing and identifying 5 Pandavas with Panchamahabhuta. Panchamahabhuta means earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Now, the question may come to our mind is, were these people in the battlefield for fighting or for blowing their conch shells? Why everyone is blowing his conch shell instead of starting the fight? But remember that this was a war being fought by people who were wise. They knew that doing so would infuse courage and enthusiasm in their soldiers and simultaneously dampen the spirit of their enemies. So to dampen the spirit of enemies and to boost up the morale of your own soldiers, you blow the conch shell. What happens next? 16th sloka. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha Nakulas Sahadevascha Subhoshamani Pushpakau. This series of blowing of conch shell continues. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha Nakulas Sahadevascha Subhosha Mani Pushpakau. Sons of Kunti, the king Yudhishthira, he blew his conch shell named Ananta Vijaya, along with Nakul and Sahadeva, whose conch shells were called Sughosha and Mani Pushpak, respectively. Sughosh and Mani Pushpak. Actually, Arjuna, Bhima, and Yudhishthira, 3 were Kunti's sons, while Nakul and Sahadeva were Madri's sons. They were not Kunti's sons, they were Madri's sons. So the adjective here used, Kunti Putra, is basically used for Yudhishthira. So Nakul Sahadeva also used to call Kunti as their mother only. She was also like mother there only. But their real mother was Madri, not Kunti. Now Yudhishthira has been called king, Raja, because he was the ruler of half of the Indraprastha kingdom before they went to Vanvasa, before exile. And according to the promise and according to the law, even that time, he should have been the king after coming back from that exile and that Vanvas, incognito residence of 1 year. Moreover, by calling him king, probably Sanjaya wanted to give a hint that he would be the king of entire territory afterwards. Maybe he imagined the result of war and then he said probably that Yudhishthira is going to be the king. So he calls him king. Now Yudhishthira is known as Dharmaraja, which literally means king of Dharma. Dharmaraj, king of Dharma. But here Dharma does not refer to the absolute truth. We call Dharma in Bhagavad-Gītā as Dharma means one who has understood his Dharma, his duty, and Dharma is knowing yourself. Your Swa, self-realization and God-realization is Dharma. So this Dharmaraj, which was Yudhishthira's calling, he was not Dharmaraj in that sense. Rather, it represented the social rules on moral conduct, which Yudhishthira followed very precisely. And that is why he was referred to as Dharmaraj. He used to follow the social rules and the rules of moral conduct. Not that he had done self-realization or the God realization. That dharma is different. This dharma is different. But even though he was called Dharmaraj, he nevertheless did commit a blunder, an error of judgment, when by gambling away, he gambled his brothers and his wife in the gamble with Kauravas. But that one lapse did not wipe out all his character. His quality was he never lost his cool. He was extremely respectful to all elders, including Dhritarashtra. He was very well aware of Duryodhana's animosity towards Pandavas, but he always stopped even Bhima from retaliating, saying that our dharma doesn't allow this. Anger cannot be a tool of retaliation. So these were the principles which he was following, and that was the reason he was called Dharmaraj. All these reasons he was called Dharmaraj. As I said, dharma following social rules and moral conduct is different than the dharma of knowing the absolute truth. What is absolute truth? Knowing Swa, knowing self-realization and the God realization. So that dharma is different. That requires highest wisdom. Yudhishthira was in the former category of dharma, social rules and moral conduct. Okay, we go to 17th shloka now. Kasyascha parameshvasah shikandi cha maharatah drushtadhyamno viratascha satyakischa parajitah. Kashya means the king of Kashi. Parameshvasah, the great archer. Maharatha. Maharatha, by definition, is one who can fight against 1,000 people alone, or one who can lead a team of 10,000 soldiers from his side. He is called Maharatha. Drushtadhyamno. He was the son of King Drupad, Virat, the king who had given shelter to Pandavas when they were in the disguise for 1 year. That place of incognito, they stayed there for 1 year. So King Virat was the king who gave them shelter during that 1 year. Satyaki aparajitah. Satyaki, who had never been won over by his opponent. So this shloka says, or let us read shloka 18 also. Shloka 17 and 18 almost go together. Shloka 18. Drupado Draupadeyascha Sarvashah Prithvi Pate Saubhadrashcha Mahabahush Shankhan Dadmah Prathak Prathak. The king of Kashi. The king of Kashi was excellent archer, and Shikhandi, the great fighter, Maharatha. Drushtadhyamno, Virat, and the unconquerable Satyaki, they all blew their conch shells. Thereafter, Drupad, the son of Draupadi, and the mighty armed, extraordinarily handsome son of Subhadra, and Arjuna, who Abhimanyu, they blew their conch shells. Now, this great fighter, Maharatha Shikhandi, was very brave. In his previous life, previous birth, he was a woman, daughter named Amba of King of Kashi. This Shikhandi was Amba in his previous birth. And in this birth also, when born, he was born as a daughter to King Drupad. Afterwards, she became a man by getting a manhood from a genie. That is the story. Bhishma knew all this, and therefore he regarded Shikhandi as a woman and did not shoot any arrows at him. At woman, he would not shoot any arrow. So Arjuna, while fighting, kept this in mind, and he always kept Shikhandi ahead and shot arrows at Bhishma, and then in the process overthrew Bhishma from his ratha, from his chariot, taking advantage of his weakness against Shikhandi. So that was Shikhandi. Now Arjuna's son Abhimanyu, he was very, very brave. In the warfare, he killed many, many warriors by entering in the Chakra Vyuha, that means the array of soldiers, in the form of circle, which were formed by Dronacharya. But then, when they thought that he is unconquerable, Abhimanyu, the 6 great warriors from side of Kauravas, from the army of Kauravas, they surrounded him and by foul means attacked him with weapons. He was killed when Dushasana's son hit him on the head with his gada, with his mace. He was hit on the backside of his head from the back. Because otherwise he was not getting killed. His bravery was destroying Kauravas' army. Now Sanjaya mentions only one warrior, that is Bhishma, Pitamaha Bhishma, who blew his conch shell from Kauravas' army. While he mentioned 18 warriors, if you count all the warriors which were named in the previous shlokas, 18 warriors who blew their conch shells from Pandava's side. Lord Krishna, Arjuna, Bhima, Yudhishthira, Snakula, Sahadeva, 5 sons of Draupadi, etc., etc., etc. So total 18 warriors are named by Sanjaya as they blew their conch shells in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. It seems Sanjaya did not want to describe the unrighteous side of Kaurava's army in great details. But he had great regard for Lord Krishna, the Pandavas, and the Pandavas' army, because he knew that they are on the right side. Pandava's side was the side of righteousness. So he thought it proper, Sanjaya, to describe the warriors of Pandava army in more details. And he took delight in describing Pandavas in great details. We go to next shloka, 19. Sogosho dhartarashranam hridaya nivyadharayat navasya prithivim tumulo vyanunadayan. So, some is that Ghosho. Ghosh means sound, vibrations. Dhartarashtran, sons of Dharashtra. Hridayani, the hearts. Vyadarayat, Vyadarayat is shattered. Nabha, sky. Prithivim, the earth. Tumul, very, very loud. Vyanunadayan, the sound and its echo. When we go to the hilltop and shout loudly, we get an echo. So this is Vyanunadayan. So this terrible deed, the blowing of these different conch shells, they become very, very loud, vibrating and sounding both in the sky and on the earth. That loud sound shattered the hearts of sons of Dharashtra. So Gosho Dhartarashtranam Hridayani Vyadarayat Navasya Prithivim Tumulo Vyanunadayan. Sagosho Dhartarashtranam Hridayani Vyadarayat Navasya Prithivim Tumulo Vyanunadayan. The sound of the conch shells of Pandava army was so thunderous, so roaring, so horrifying that it echoed through the sky and earth. And it shattered the hearts of Kauravas, who had snatched away the empire from Pandavas, and also of the kings who were supporting Kauravas, who had come to fight from the side of Kauravas. It means that as a weapon, it shatters the heart and causes it pain. So does the sound of these conchs. The sound discouraged the Kaurava army and its warriors. They were horror-struck with that huge sound which filled the sky and the earth. Now here the question may arise as why there was the effect of sound of the war instruments such as this conch and drums and everything of 11 Akshahini army. That was the size of army of Kauravas. The proportion of Kaurava versus Pandava was 7 versus 11. The Kaurava's army was 11 Akshauhini. We can go into details of what is Akshauhini. Akshauhini is 10, maybe around 1,09,350 soldiers, then 65,000 horses, then maybe 22,000 rathas. All this constitutes one Akshauhini. Like that, 11 Akshauhini army Kauravas had. And while Pandavas, they had 7 Akshauhini. But here we are talking of Kauravas getting shattered because of the sounding of conch shells by Pandavas' army. But why there is no shattering of Pandava's heart because of conch shells being blown by Kauravas? The answer is that the hearts of those who are righteous and just they cannot be shattered. They have got a strong heart because they are on the right side. The truth is on their side. That truth makes their heart very, very strong. Nobody can shatter those hearts. The strength of truth is such huge that nobody can shatter the truth. Nobody can shatter their heart who are on the right side. Pandavas had ruled over the empire with justice and righteousness before their exile, and also demanded their empire from Kauravas legitimately, which was also a just demand. On the other hand, the hearts of those who are unrighteous, like Kauravas, unjust and sinful, like Kauravas, their hearts are weak, doubtful, and full of fear. They may be strong physically, but in the heart they are weak because they know we are doing something wrong. It is their sin or injustice which weakens their heart. So unrighteous people have weak heart, righteous people have strong heart. This is the conclusion we can draw. Duryodhana and his group, they tried their best to kill Pandavas by any means. They snatched their empire and caused them much trouble. They did not leave a single opportunity to trouble Pandavas. Thus, they stood on the side of unrighteousness, Kauravas. So the sound of the conch of 7 Akshavani army of Pandavas, it shattered the hearts of 11 Akshavani army of Kauravas. Now this incident, it reminds one more thing, that a striver, a sadhak, he should never have unjust and unrighteousness dealings through his body, through his speech, or through his mind. Gita treats actions taken by your body, by speech, or mind as your karma. Sharirvang mano viryat karma prarabhate nara. There is a shloka in 18th adhyay. All the kriyas of your body, your speech, and your mind are your karmas. So don't be unjust and unrighteous in your action which you take through your body, through your speech, or through your mind. Because this weakens the heart and it creates fear. For example, Ravana was very, very powerful. Everybody used to get scared of it. He was such powerful, even the gods, demigods used to get scared of Ravana. That was his bravery. That was his power. That was his strength. But when he abducted Sita, he being terrified, knowing that he had done something wrong, he looked here and there to see if anyone is watching him, because he had done a bad act. So when you do a bad act, you obviously become weak in your heart. You become fearful. So from this shloka, what we understand is this: don't follow any unjust or unrighteous means to achieve your objective. Otherwise, you will have a very weak side on your side. Okay, we go to next shloka now. 20. अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवः. अथ, thereupon, now, vyavasthitan, well standing, situated, drashtva, after seeing Dhartarashtra, the sons of Dharashtra, Kapidvajaha, Kapi, Hanuman, Dvaja, flag, pravritte, about to start, Shastra Sampate, just starting to use the weapons, Shastra Sampate, Dhanu, Dhanu is Dhanusha, bow, Udyamya, to take up, to lift, and Pandava is, of course, Arjuna. So, Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra that after that, Arjuna, on whose chariot was hoisted a flag with the photo of Hanumana. Arjuna's Ratha was having a flag bearing the photo of Hanumana. He looked at the sons of Dhritarashtra standing firmly in the military array and lifted his bow in preparation for the battle. As if the war is just to start, Arjuna lifted his Dhanusha seated in the chariot, which was having a flag bearing the photo of Hanumana. Now, Vedavyas is saying that there is a flag with a symbol of Hanuman on it, on the chariot of Arjuna, which is hoisted on the chariot of Arjuna, which was driven by charioteer was Lord Krishna. This is not a mere coincidence. There is a meaning behind it. The one who had appeared as Lord Shri Ram in the previous era, he only appeared as Shri Krishna in this era. Hanuman had played a very pivotal role in Ramayana. As we all know, today is Hanuman Jayanti. When I am saying this to you, I think we should remember that Hanuman Jayanti has just passed a couple of days back. And that Hanuman Jayanti was the time when we all remember not only Lord Rama, also equally Lord Hanumana. Hanumana had a very, very pivotal role in the whole of Ramayana. Now, when he was on the side of Lord Rama and he helped immensely on all fronts in the army of Lord Rama, be it assembling the army or tracing the whereabouts of Sita and much more. So now when Lord Krishna was facing the situation of war, how was it possible that Hanumana would keep away from it? Is it possible? Ultimately, Lord Krishna was reincarnation of Lord Rama only. So how could Hanumana keep away? Can Hanumana be separated from Rama? Never, cannot imagine. So it is believed that both Hanuman and Bhima, they were the sons of Vayu, Lord of Wind. And as the story goes, once Draupadi asked Bhima to bring some kind of flower from the hilltop. When Bhima climbed the mountain from where the tree was there, bearing that flower, when he reached the top, it is said, he met Hanuman on that hilltop. The aging Hanumana was sleeping on the ground with his tail stretched out, which was obstructing the path of Bhima when he was going on the mountain. And Bhima, not being very intelligent, not so sharp, he almost shouted, yelled at Hanumana to move his tail. I am going up, please move your tail. It is obstructing my way. Hanumana did not say anything. But when Bhima ordered him again and again, Hanumanji, he finally spoke. He said, I am old, so how can I move this long, heavy tail? My dear, why don't you help me and move this tail yourself? So Bhima decided to do it himself. First, he tried to move the tail by pushing it with his feet, like any arrogant person would do. But he did not budge. Then he grabbed it with his mighty hands and tried to lift it up. It still did not move an inch. Now Bhima got scared. And he realized that this was no ordinary being. He is something different. He bowed down and with folded hands and then asked Hanumanji to reveal his true identity. Who are you? Hanumanji then appeared in his real form and said, I am your elder brother. I am also the son of Vayu. You are also the son of Vayu. I am your elder brother, Bhima, and I have come here to advise you. Use your intellect in the war. Don't use only your power, but use your intellect in the war that you will be fighting in the near future. Don't underestimate your opponent's power by merely going on his physical appearance. Don't make the error of judgment. Use your intellect. So at the time of war, when all the supporters, friends, relatives of Pandavas, they came together, Hanuman could remain away. So he did not remain away. He also joined Pandavas, but in the form of a sign on the flag. Not in his physical form, but in the sign of on the flag. But since it was not Hanuman's era, he did not manifest in the physical form because it was different era. Hanuman is immortal. He could come anytime, even today, because he is one of the 8 immortals. But it was not his era, so he did not manifest in his physical form in Mahabharata war. But in order to support his brother and to assist his beloved master, Shri Krishna, which was Shri Rama, Hanuman established himself as a symbol on the flag. So if it may seem to be only a symbol, but as we know the story of Mahabharata, so many weapons were fired at the chariot of Arjuna, but it did not damage the chariot because the flag holder was Hanumana. And at the end of war, we know the story in Mahabharata, when Krishna asked Arjuna to get down from the chariot. Arjuna said, no, you first get down. Lord Krishna said, no, you first get down. When Arjuna got down, after that Krishna got down, Sri Krishna got down from the chariot, the whole chariot went into fire. It was all protected by Hanumana all these days during the war. So that was the power, that was the involvement of Hanumana in the war of Mahabharata as well. The rest of the shloka says that at the time Arjuna took up his bow and prepared to fight shoot the first arrow. After looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra, who were standing in the form of a military formation, he spoke these words to whom? To Rishikesham Vakyam Idamahamahi. We go to next shloka now. Rishikesham Dada Vakyam Idamahamahi Arjuna Vacho Senayor Bhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapayamechyuta. Senayor Bhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapayamechyuta. Achyuta means Arjuna, Lord Krishna, please place my chariot between the two armies and hold it there, keep it there, till I have carefully observed the war-minded warriors with whom I have to fight this war. Let me see them. Achyuta Senayor Bhair Madhye Ratham Sthapaya. So two armies were standing against each other. They were stationed at such a distance from each other from where they could shoot the arrows against each other. Arjuna asked Lord Krishna to place his chariot in the middle. To begin with, Arjuna was valiant, very brave. But when he saw his kith and kin in the battle, he developed an attitude of disinterest in the war, being overtaken by the attachment with his friends, relatives, gurus, and all whatnot. It means that a man, in whatever circumstances he is, by making proper use of circumstances, can be free from desires and can realize God. Because God Paramatma always remains uniform in all the circumstances. Next loka says, Rishi Kishandra Vakyvedama Mahipate, Senir Verde, Tam Stapayamechyuta, Yavadetan Nirikshe Hai Yodhuka Manavastitan, Kairmaya Sah Yodhavyam Aspin Ranasamudyame. Slok number 22. So how long this chariot is to be kept between the two armies? Arjuna says, hold the chariot there till I carefully observe my enemies, the war-minded kings who have come here to fight the war, who are stationed in the army of Kauravas and with whom I have to wage the war. Let me see those heroes from their side with whom I have to encounter. Let me see also which of them are inferior, superior, or equal to me in their heroism, in their bravery. It's always a good practice to observe the enemy and then you plan the strategy. So Arjuna followed the same strategy to observe the enemy first. It is a different matter that after observing the enemy, his heart changed. And that was the Gita. So here, Yuddhu Kaman. Yuddhu Kaman, Arjuna means to say that they have, Pandavas already had sent proposal for conciliation to Pandava. But Kauravas did not accept it. And they had the keen desire to wage the war. Among Kauravas, Duryodhana particularly had the keen desire to wage the war. So he wants to observe the warriors and their bravery, which makes them so confident to wage the war against Pandavas and against Arjuna in particular. Who are these people who have come here to fight war against me? Let me observe. So that was like a typical Kshatriya. Okay, we go to next sloka now, 23rd. योत्स्यमानान् वेक्षेऽहंय एतेऽत्र समागताः धार्तराष्ट्रस्य दुर्बुद्धिर्युद्धे प्रियचिकीर्षवः युद्धे प्रियचिकीर्षवः योत्स्यमानान् वेक्षेऽहं एतेऽत्र समागताः धार्तराष्ट्रस्य दुर्बुद्धिर्युद्धे प्रियचिकीर्षवः. Here Arjuna, by calling Duryodhana as evil-minded, Durbuddhe, Durbuddhe, he wants to convey how Duryodhana conspired for their destruction several times. He tried to kill Pandavas several times in the past, even when they were in the Vanvasa or when they're in that place of incognito. He tried several times to kill Pandavas. Arjuna says, we are the lawful owner of half of the empire of this Hastinapur, of Indraprastha, but he wants to snatch away everything. He is evil-minded. He is Durbuddhi person. And these kings who have assembled here to try to do good with him, to support him, but the duty of a friend honestly should be to give him such advice as may add to his welfare now. They should have advised Duryodhana not to enter into war and make some kind of conciliation with Pandavas. Give them something and close the issue. So instead of doing that, these kings have joined Duryodhana in fighting the war. So Arjuna was very curious to know how these people, instead of advising Duryodhana not to take the war, they have come here in support of Duryodhana to fight a war against Pandavas. Who are these characters? Who are these people? And how they could develop this strong desire to fight a war? So as friends, they should have advised him to rule over half of the kingdom and hand over the half to Pandavas. Thus he would have been ruled, he could have ruled half of the empire, and his life in the next world could also have been protected because he had not done any papa karma in that case. As per agreement, he handed over half to Pandavas. So it is happy situation, win-win situation for both Kauravas and Pandavas. But Duryodhana, being a Durbuddhi person, he did not do it. Yotsamanana vekshaham yetetra samagataha. He says, Arjuna, I want to observe the warriors who are so impatient to wage war against us. They have favored the unrighteous side and injustice. So they are sure to get ruined in the war because unjust side gets ruined. Unrighteousness side gets ruined in the war. Let me see who are those people. Yotsamanana, in this Arjuna wants to see those who have that keen desire to fight the war. Okay, we go to next shloka now, 24. Evamukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata. This is Sanjaya Vacha. Sanjaya Vacha. Evamukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata. Senayor Bhayor Madhye Stapayatva Rathottamam. We'll take 25th also. Bhishmadrona Pramukhada Sarvesha Intamahikshitam. Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan Samavetan Kuru Niti. Evamukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata Senayor Bhayor Madhye Stapayatva Rathottamam. Bhishmadrona Pramukhada Sarvesha Intamahikshitam. Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan Samavetan Kuru Niti. Now here Gudakesh. Gudakesh has two meanings. Guda means curled and Kesha means hair. So it means one having curly hair. So Arjuna was a Gudakesh. She had curly hair. Gudakesh, another meaning is one having control over sleep. If he decides I will sleep for 2 hours and 10 minutes, after 2 or 10 minutes, he will wake up. That is his control over the sleep. So that person also called Gudakesh. Now Gudakesh, Arjuna was Gudakesh in the both senses. He had curly hair and he had control over his sleep also. Eva Mukta, one who is not slave to sleep, idleness and the materialistic pleasure, but he is a devotee of God, slave to the God. God listens to such a person and even follows his instructions, like Arjuna, Krishna followed instructions of Arjuna. You be my charioteer, okay. You take my chariot here, Shenayor Bhair Madhye, okay. So he followed his orders. So in order to carry out the wish of his devotee friend Arjuna, Lord Krishna placed the chariot between the two armies. Evam Ukta. Evam Uktva. After saying like this. Rishikesha. Rishikesh. Rishi means senses. Rishikesha means the Lord of senses. Arjuna, Krishna was the Lord of senses. Who is the inspirer of mind, intellect and senses is Lord Krishna, Rishikesh, who commands the whole world. And he has come as a chariot driver to carry out Arjuna's wish. It shows how kind Lord Krishna was to Arjuna. Senayor bhayor madhye sthapayitva rathottamam. As instructed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna stationed Arjuna's chariot Ratha in the open space between the two armies. Bhishma-Drona Paramvata Sarvain Chaicha Mahikshitam. Oh my God. Now the Arjuna Vishad will start. Lord Krishna placed the chariot at such a point from where he could see Bhishma, Dronacharya, all the chief kings and warriors of Kaurava army. Uvacha Partha Pashaitan Samavetan Kuru Niti. Lord Krishna says, see all the Kuru dynasty people standing here. He did not say Dhartaratran, not the sons of Dhartara, but Kuru. Kuru was the dynasty of Pandavas as well. So probably Krishna wanted to tell Arjuna that this is Kuru versus Kuru war. You will be fighting against your own people. You are also Kuru dynasty. Kaurava was also Kuru dynasty. To probably instill a feeling of some kind of fear in the Arjuna, whether to take war against his relations, his friends, his gurus, who belong to the same dynasty as him, Kuru. If that had not happened, and if he had used the word Dhartaratran, sons of Dhritarashtra, probably Arjuna would have started the war. But saying Kuru, probably it stressed that they are also belonging to the same dynasty as you. So would you like to take the war? Now that probably caused the Geeta. When Arjuna saw all the enemies, Bhishma, Drona, Paramvata, Sarvain Chaicha Mahikshitam, so that caused the war of Mahabharata. Rest of the shlokas we'll take in the next session. Thank you so very much. Jai Shri Krishna. And now the forum is open for all of you to raise your questions. In the last session also, I think questions answer session was skipped. You can raise questions about the first 10 shlokas, what we covered in the last session, and the shlokas, of course, what we covered in today's session. So up to 25th of shlokas, first to 25th, whatever questions you have, please feel free to raise your questions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bhaiya. So beautifully you explained. We just started visualizing Kurukshetra, 11 auctioneer army of Kaurava, 7 auctioneer army of Pandava, and can imagine the sound of conch shell. Thank you so much, Bhaiya. Now it is a time of question answer. So before that, I would like to remind you that from 8th November, the new L1 batch is going to be started. So for registration, reg.learngeeta.com. Please click on it. Bhaiya, can we start it?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Ji Bhaiya.
Let's start.
Yeah. Nageshwar Rao ji, I sent you the request. Please unmute. Bhaiya, unmute yourself. Ji. Ji Bhaiya, you are unmuted. Nageshwar Rao ji.
Krishna ma. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Sir, you are explaining very clarifying, sir. I have a small doubt, sir. You say was Panchabhutas, Bhima as Vayu, remaining 4 what, sir?
Arjuna from Teja. You see, Kunti when she got married to Pandu, Kunti wanted to become mother. But Pandu had killed someone and a Rishi had given Shrapa to him that he will never become a father. So Kunti wanted to become mother. Kunti, what should she do?
Oh, sir.
She worshipped some Rishi, Durvas Rishi. And then that Rishi gave her a vara, a boon, that 5 gods will give you 1 son each. You worship and you will get 1. So she wanted to try it in a hurry. When she was not married, even then she wanted to try it. So she hurriedly stood in front of the sun and she worshipped her son. And the sun god gave Kunti a son who was Karna. But Kunti was in Kaumara Avastha. That means she was not married that time. She got damn scared that I am not married and I got a son. I'm going to give birth to a son. So how to take care of him now? So what she do? She did put him in the Ganga water. And then Karna was taken care of by a maid and never came as the son of Kunti.
Okay.
That was the sun god. She got Karna from sun god. Similarly, she got Arjuna from Teja and also Yudhishthira and also Bhima. But Nakul and Sahadeva were the sons of Madri. So she passed on these mantras to Madri, and Madri also used the same because Pandu was not capable of becoming father. So Madri also used the same mantras and gave birth to Nakul and Sahadeva from the two Panchamahabhutas. So they are identified as sons of Panchamahabhuta, 5 Pandavas. That is the story.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Kamala ji, you are unmuted.
जय श्री कृष्ण भैया। भैया अगर हम
जय श्री
कोई
कृष्ण।
पाप करते हैं तो हमें हम कोई भी सजा भुगतते हैं तो कहा जाता है कि हम पूर्व जन्म का पाप के कारण हम लोग सजा भुगत रहे हैं।
हाँ,
अगर ऐसा होता
हाँ,
है तो हमें कैसा पता चलेगा कि हम किस पाप का सजा भुगत रहे हैं? अगर हमें
हमको
पता
कुछ
चलेगा तभी ना हम उस पाप को इस जन्म में नहीं करेंगे।
नहीं, ऐसा है, हमको कुछ पता नहीं पड़ता है कि हमारा कर्म कब कर्म फल के स्वरूप में हमारे सामने आके उपस्थित हो जाएगा। इस बात को हम कई बार बोल चुके हैं क्लास में भी और विवेचन में भी कि 3 प्रकार के कर्मों के फल होते हैं। एक होता है क्रियमाण, एक होता है संचित और एक होता है प्रारब्ध। तो क्रियमाण वो फल होता है जो आप कर्म करिए और उसका फल तुरंत आपको मिल जाएगा, फल या पनिशमेंट जो भी है मतलब। दूसरा होता है संचित। संचित मतलब आप कर्म करते हैं लेकिन आप उसका जो कर्म फल है वो आपको पता नहीं पड़ता, मिलता नहीं उस टाइम पे। वो कहीं पे डिपॉजिट में जाके पड़ता है, वो डिपॉजिट में। और डिपॉजिट में पड़ा हुआ वो संचित जो है वो प्रारब्ध करके आपके जीवन में इस आयुष्य में नहीं तो अगले, अगले नहीं तो उसके अगले, उसके अगले नहीं तो उससे अगले कभी भी आपके सामने उपस्थित हो सकता है कर्मफल के नाम पे। उसको हम कहते हैं प्रारब्ध। तो ये प्रारब्ध कब किसी को किस तरीके से देना है ये प्रकृति के अधीन होता है। इसके बारे में हमारे हाथ में कुछ भी नहीं रहता। इसलिए इंटरव्यू में 15 लोग जाते हैं, एक का इंटरव्यू बहुत अच्छा होता है लेकिन सिलेक्ट नहीं होता है वो। दूसरा इंटरव्यू इतना ज्यादा अच्छा होता है लेकिन सिलेक्ट हो जाता है। क्यों होता है? प्रारब्ध, पूर्व के फल का कर्म का फल उसको मिल गया अच्छा सा। तो हमको हम जो कर्म करते हैं, किस कर्म का फल हम आज भुगत रहे हैं इसका पता हमें बिल्कुल भी नहीं होता है। इसलिए परमात्मा कहते हैं कि हमेशा अच्छे कर्म करते रहिए ताकि आपका दिमाग में ये प्रश्न आए ही नहीं कि आपको किस कर्म की सजा मिल रही है आपको। आप अच्छे कर्म करेंगे तो सजा का सवाल ही पैदा नहीं उठता है। यदि आपको पता लग जाए कि मेरे इस कर्म का फल मुझे इसलिए ऐसा मिला है तो शायद आप कुछ करेक्टिव एक्शन ले सकते हैं। लेकिन परमात्मा की जो माया है, प्रकृति की जो नियम है, वो नियम जानना हमारे लिए असंभव है। परमात्मा की माया का भेद निकालना हमारे लिए असंभव है। इसलिए अच्छे कर्म करते रहना यही हमारे हाथ में है।
हम गलत काम करते हैं तो हम वो काम अपने कर्म के कारण ही कर रहे हैं ना। हम गलत काम कर रहे
कर्म,
हैं, क्यों गलत काम
हाँ,
कर रहे हैं? अगर हमें पता चलता है कि हम गलत काम करेंगे तो हमें इसका पाप भुगतना पड़ेगा, इसका सजा भुगतना पड़ेगा, तो ये ऐसा हम क्यों करते हैं? हमारा ब्रेन ऐसा
ऐसा,
क्यों काम करता है?
हाँ, ऐसा इसलिए करता है कि हमारे पास हमारे ब्रेन का जो विचार है उस विचारों के बारे में, इस जन्म में हम क्या विचार कर रहे हैं उसके बारे में तो जानकारी है कि बचपन से आज तक हम क्या विचार करते रहे हैं, और शायद कौन सा विचार सही नहीं था, कौन सा विचार सही था, इसका एनालिसिस हम इस जन्म के बारे में कर सकते हैं। लेकिन क्या ये हमारा पहला जन्म है क्या? इसके पहले अनेकों जन्म हो गए ना। बहुनिमे व्यतीतानि जन्मानि तव च अर्जुन, तान्यहं वेद सर्वाणि न त्वं वेत्त परं तप। चौथे अध्याय में परमात्मा कहते हैं अर्जुन को कि तुम्हारे मेरे बहुत जन्म हो गए अर्जुन, मुझे मेरे सारे जन्म याद है, तुमको एक भी जन्म याद नहीं रहेगा। तो हमारे भी अनेक जन्म हो गए हैं, और उन जन्मों में हमसे जो कर्म हो गए हैं, उन कर्मों के फलों की सजा हम कब मिलेगी, ये हमारे हाथ में होता नहीं है। जिसमें अनेक बार कह चुका हूँ, ये इस बात को आज फिर से दोहराता हूँ कि जो भी हम कर्म करते हैं, अच्छा हो बुरा हो, सात्विक हो राजसी हो तामसी हो, हर एक कर्म का एक इम्प्रिंट निकलता है, मतलब उसकी एक कॉपी निकलती है। कॉपी बोलिए उसको आप। वो कॉपी निकल के हमारे अंतःकरण में तीन संदूकें रहती हैं। एक संदूक होता है सात्विक कर्म का, दूसरा संदूक होता है राजसी कर्म का, तीसरा संदूक होता है तामसी कर्म का। अच्छा कर्म करेंगे तो जो इम्प्रिंट होता है वो सात्विक संदूक में जाके पड़ेगा, राजसी होगा तो राजसी में पड़ेगा, और तामसी होगा तो तामसी में पड़ेगा। ऐसे हमारा हर एक कर्म है, जैसे हम अभी बात कर रहे हैं, हम गीता विवेचन के बारे में बात करें, ये अच्छा काम है, सात्विक कर्म है। तो ये सात्विक कर्म का जो इम्प्रिंट है वो हमारे सात्विक संदूक में जाके जा रहा है अभी, सात्विक संदूक में पड़ रहा है अभी। ऐसे हमारे से अनेक राजसी कर्म भी होते हैं, तामसी कर्म भी होते हैं। और जब जीवन का अंत आता है तो ये तीन संदूक लेके हम अगले प्रवास के लिए निकलते हैं, जिसको हम कहते हैं हमारे अगले जन्म का संस्कार वो होता है। कौन सा संदूक भारी है, सात्विक संदूक भारू है, या राजसी भारी है, या तामसी भारी है? तो वो हमारे संस्कार है। उस संस्कार के मुताबिक ही हमारे अगले जन्म में हमसे कर्म घटते रहते हैं। परमात्मा ने हमें स्वतंत्रता दी है कि आप जो चाहे सोच सकते हैं, जो कर्म चाहे करना वो कर सकते हैं। लेकिन उसमें संस्कार जो है, वो संस्कार नियत करते हैं कि हम अच्छा कर्म करेंगे या बुरा कर्म करेंगे। संस्कार को सुधारा जा सकता है। जैसे हम गीता किस लिए पढ़ रहे हैं? इसीलिए पढ़ रहे हैं, जो पुराने संस्कार जो हमारे खराब हो चुके होंगे उनको सुधारना है, ताकि अगले जन्म में जो हमने गलतियां पिछले अनेक जन्मों में की होगी, अगले जन्म में वो नहीं हो। और अगले जन्म में हमारे जो तीनों संदूक हम साथ में लेके जाएं, तो सात्विक संदूक सबसे बड़ा हो, राजसी बहुत छोटा हो, तामसी बिल्कुल हो ही नहीं। यदि ऐसे हम हमारे संस्कार सुधारण के बारे में सोचना शुरू करें, तो अगले जन्म में हमसे होने वाले कर्म हमेशा अच्छे ही होंगे। पिछले जन्म में हमने अच्छे कर्म किए हैं, इसलिए गीता परिवार में हम साथ बैठे हैं और गीता के बारे में चर्चा कर रहे हैं, है ना। यदि कर्म अच्छे होते नहीं तो आप और हम बात करते ही नहीं गीता के बारे में। हम कुछ भी बुरा बुरा कर्म करते हैं, कहीं किसी को परेशान करते हैं, किसी को चीट करते हैं, किसी को फ्रॉड करते हैं, लेकिन हम अच्छी बातें कर रहे हैं। क्यों कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि हमने कुछ अच्छे कर्म किए हैं पिछले जन्म में। तो परमात्मा ने हमने साथ में एक प्लेटफॉर्म पे रखा है गीता परिवार में, कि आप गीता के बारे में जान पहचान करिए, गीता के बारे में सोच विचार करिए, आपस में चर्चा करिए, अपने संस्कार सुधारिए। तो ये संस्कार सुधारना कार्यक्रम है हमारा जो चल रहा है ना गीता का। ये हम संस्कार सुधार रहे हैं, हमारे जो पुराने संस्कार है उसकी सुधारना करने का कार्यक्रम हम करते हैं गीता परिवार में।
Is our thought process controlled by God? Is our thought process controlled by God?
हाँ, या
Is our thought process?
गॉड हैज क्लैरिफाइड इन गीता सो मेनी टाइम्स कि मैं आपको बोलता नहीं हूँ कि ये करो ये मत करो ये करो, मैं आपको सिर्फ आईना दिखाता हूँ। गीता में परमात्मा ने हमको सिर्फ आईना दिखाया है, ऐसा करेंगे तो ऐसा होगा, वैसा करेंगे तो वैसा होगा। आपको जो करना है आप सोचिए करिए। इतनी 18 अध्याय गीता करने के बताने के बाद में ही परमात्मा ने क्या कहा अर्जुन से, कि मैंने जो मेरा ज्ञान था वो आपको दे दिया है, अभी आप उसके ऊपर अच्छे से विचार करिए और जो आपको अच्छा लगता है वो करिए। स्वतंत्रता अब की है। मैंने आपको 18 अध्याय गीता बताई, इसीलिए आप मेरा ही अनुकरण करें, इससे मेरा कोई आग्रह नहीं है। 18 अध्याय में श्लोक है ऐसा परमात्मा का एक। तो
धन्यवाद सर।
परमात्मा हम किसी चीज और हमको किसी चीज के लिए फोर्स करते नहीं है परमात्मा। वो कहते हैं आप पे पूरा स्वतंत्र है, आप जो करना चाहे उसके लिए आप स्वतंत्र है। जो अच्छा कर्म करना चाहते हैं, अच्छा ज्ञान प्राप्त करने के बाद में अच्छी बात है, करिए। नहीं करना चाहते, आपकी मर्जी है। जन्म मरण के चक्कर में फिर से आना चाहते हैं, आपकी मर्जी है।
Murlidas Bhaiya, you are
Jai Shri-
unmuted.
Thank you, Didi. Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya.
ये
Bhaiya, my
कृष्ण।
question is again with Kunti and um, her actions when Karna was born, right? I'm not.
क्या?
I understand it was Karna's destiny, so he went through the difficulty. But my question is about the action itself, right? So how can we get if in any day or age, how can we give up on a child that is never viewed as the right thing to do, regardless of the situation, right? So how can that become right in this situation?
It is the boon she got from the Swami, from the Rishi Durvas Rishi, that she will get from all these respective Panchama Bhutas son. And
Right.
that is what she got. And she wanted to try it hurriedly, even when she was not married. And hurriedly she saw the sun in front of her, and she prayed to the sun that I want a son from you. And the sun god obliged her and gave her Karna. Now Karna could not be accepted by her because she was not married. So she had to get rid of him somehow. It was a very wrong
Yeah,
thing to have in the history of Mahabharata, because Karna had to pay price for none of his sins. He was not
so
at fault at all.
yeah. So how come there was no repercussion on Kunti from that act of giving up on the child, that innocent child that was born because of no mistake of him, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
understand that he was destined to go through all those things, but the action of Kunti, how come there was no repercussion on her? How or if anybody does anything like that, it is definitely viewed wrong. I think it was regardless of time, right? That action, right? So how
Do you
is
think
that?
do you think Kunti was a very, very happy person? She had to suffer a lot in her whole life. Her daughter-in-law was publicly disrobed. Her grandsons were got all killed. She was insulted herself many times. She had to get herself away from her son, legitimate son. She could not patch up between his eldest son, Karna, and the remaining 5 sons. So Kunti was not a very happy person. She had to suffer a lot in her life also. And she had to pay the price for the sin that she did when she
So if,
separated Karna
so if she had
illegitimately from her.
so if she had not given up on Karna, she might not have gone through that. Is that what we have to assume?
Yeah. If she had given the right place to Karna in his life, installing him as the eldest of Pandavas, because Karna was even elder to Yudhishthira.
Yes. Yes.
If he had got that recognition
Yeah.
as the eldest of Pandavas, Mahabharata would have been totally different. But it did not happen. The remaining 5 Pandavas never left an opportunity to insult Karna on any occasion. You are a maid son. You are not a Pandav. You are not a Kshatriya. Don't talk to us. Get lost. That was the language used. And that repeated insult of Karna made him more violent, more rebellious. And that is why he joined Duryodhana. And Duryodhana, as I said last time also, that every good person had bad qualities and every bad person has good qualities. All Pandavas had that bad quality of abusing Karna. All Pandavas were good. Yes, they were good. Yudhishthira was good. Arjuna was good. Bhima was good. Everybody was good. But they never respected Karna. So that was their bad quality, no? They were good, but this bad point was in them. Duryodhana was all bad, 99.99%.
Yes.
But he never insulted Karna. He said, I don't care whether you are raised by a maid or you are raised by Kshatriya or you are a king or what. You are brave. You are my friend and I respect that. Take this kingdom from me and rule it. So this was a good point of Duryodhana. So we cannot find in our life that one person is totally bad and one person is totally good. Good people have bad habits and bad people have some good habits. That is Mahabharata. That is the peculiarity of Mahabharata. You see variety of characters, variety of human nature shades, not only black and white, but all shades of human nature you see in Mahabharata because of this peculiarity of human nature.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you. I appreciate your answer. Thank you.
Satyanarayan ji,
Namaste. It is not from Bhagavad. The question is not from Bhagavad Gita, but in Gayatri Mantra we talk Vidmahe Dhimahi Prachodayat. What is the meaning of Vidmahe Dhimahi and Prachodayat?
You say the shloka, then we can discuss it in details.
In all Gayatri mantras, it will come.
Okay. See, at the end, when you worship any god or goddess, that is the way to praise the related god.
But what is meant by Vidmahi?
Mahalakshmi ke vidmahe Vishnu patni ke dhimahi tanno Lakshmi prachodayat. So that is a different way of singing songs for the different gods and different goddesses. When you sing a song for Lakshmi, you say Lakshmi prachodayat, Vishnu prachodayat, Datta prachodayat. So that is the way of singing praise for the god. Normally, this is said at the end of Arti. When you are doing Arti, at the end of Arti, you say this. Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnu patni cha dhimahi tanno Lakshmi prachodayat. So you worship, you offer salutation to Lakshmi as Vishnu patni, like that.
Somehow I am not satisfied by the meaning. I just have not got the meaning. Okay, we are.
Okay. We'll discuss it in more detail some other time. We'll discuss in more detail some other time. Okay. Yeah.
Jyoti ji,
Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya. My
Jai
question
Krishna.
is, the first chapter is called as Arjuna Vishada Yoga. How can we call the Vishada as yoga? Can you please justify this, Bhaiya?
See, there is a terminology used in psychology that is called constructive frustration. We call frustration as a bad quality, but frustration can also be constructive. When you are frustrated, then only you run after the finding of the right answer. If there is no frustration in your mind, then you don't run after finding the answer. So if Arjuna did not have this Vishad in his life, Gita would not have happened. So Arjuna Vishad, the purpose of first Adhyaya is for us, all Gita lovers, is to put ourselves in the shoes of Arjuna, to enter into the character of Arjuna. Because whatever Arjuna Vishad he had that time of attachment, same we have, isn't it? Today we are also facing the same problems what Arjuna had. We are also getting attracted with so many attractions in the life with family, friends, society, everybody, isn't it? And that Vishad also we are facing on a day-to-day basis. We cannot find answer to that. So unless there is a Vishad in our life, we cannot find an answer to become happy. If everything is goody-goody, then you don't try for meditation. Then you don't try for any spiritual sadhana. Unless something is striking you, unless something is making you unhappy, you don't run after happiness. Isn't it? Arjuna was Siddhanti mama gatrani mukhancha parishishyati vipadusya sharire me romarshajayate gandivam sansate hastat pakchaiva paridayate. I am not able to stand. All my senses have given up. I am not able to speak. My mind is going haywire. When mental condition becomes so bad, then only you try to find some answer to that mental condition and come out of that situation. So Vishad also is a yoga. That Vishad connected Arjuna with Paramatma. Yoga means what? Yoga is connection. Yoga is connection. Arjuna's frustration connected him with Lord Krishna. And that is why Krishna gave him the Gita. So Vishad also can be yoga. And the only purpose of first Sadhya for us, many people say, as I said, first Sadhya is quite boring. Yeah. Arjuna is only crying. He's only complaining, all that. It is not so. If we put ourselves in the shoes of Arjuna, we realize what exactly predicament, what problems he really would have faced that time. So we are also all Arjunas. There is a book in Marathi, we are all Arjun karke. So we are all Arjuna in our day-to-day life. We also face the same situations in our life. And unless we face that situation, we cannot find an answer to those frustrations. Nani Palkiwala, he used to give lecture after every budget presentation. And the title of the budget presentation used to be constructive frustration. That is the terminology in psychology used, constructive frustration. Frustration can be effectively used as a constructive tool to build up your life. And that is what Vishad of Arjuna has done, not only to Arjuna, but to all of us. It helps the entire humanity to rebuild their life. That's why Vishad can also be a yoga. Rather, it is a yoga only.
Mhm. Yes, ma'am. Thank
Sorry, Didi, you are muted. Please unmute yourself, Jyoti Didi.
Yes, Didi. Thank you so much, Vaya. It was very nice.
Thank
Jai
you.
Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri
Geeta ji,
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I want to ask you, in daily puja, I want to include 3 shlokas, whatever we are learning in daily classes. So now I am confused. Shloka should be told by Lord Krishna or shloka should be told by anyone, Lord Arjun or Dhritarashtra. Whose shlokas should be included, told at the time of puja from Gita?
See, if you want to pursue the wisdom, if you want to pursue the knowledge, Arjuna shlokas or Sanjaya shlokas or the singular shloka from Dhritarashtra, they are not knowledge imparting, they are questions seeking some clarification. Only shlokas which give you some wisdom, some knowledge, some jnana are from Lord Krishna. So pick up any 3 shlokas from Lord Krishna and then use those. Mat karma krunat parmo mad bhakta sangha varijita nirvairasya bhuteshu yasya mameti pandava. From Krishna.
Only at the time
Ananyajita
of doing, only at the time of doing puja, shlokas from Lord Krishna should be used, you mean to say?
Actually, you should read the entire Gita because questions and answers are related to each other. But if you have this limitation of reciting only 3 shlokas, then restrict only 3 shlokas from Krishna.
Oh, good.
Ananyajita satatam yogam smarati nityasha tasyam sulabh partha nitya yuktasya yoginah. This is another shloka. There are many shlokas where Paramatma has given us the ways how to attain him. Like the first shloka I said, mat karma krunat parmo mad bhakta sangha vijada. Or in 9th adhyaya also there is a shloka. Whatever you do, tapa, jnana, yajna, whatever you do, you arpan, you surrender it to me. Yat karoshi dashnasi, yat joshi dadasi, yat tapasasi kaunteya, tat kurushma madarpanam. In 9th adhyay. Mat karma kurunat parma, mat bhakta sangavarjita, nirvair surabhuteshu, yes samameti pandav. 11th adhyay. Ananya cheta satatam, yomam smarati nityashaha, tasyaham sulabha partha, nitya yuktasya yoginaha. Sulabhtasya, you can attain me if you ananya cheta satatam and nityashaha smarata. If you remember me, nityashaha satatam ananya chitta, you can attain me. So you
Thanks,
can select
Bhaiya.
any 3 shlokas if you have that time limit. Otherwise, you can recite the entire adhyay, at least one complete adhyay.
Thanks, Bhaiya.
Radha Krishna ji, I sent you the request to unmute. Ji bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri
Jai
Krishna.
Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri
See, I have felt, Namaskara sir, I have felt that Arjuna was such an enterprising person. He throughout lived with Krishna and had so much experience that Krishna is himself Paramatma. And he had all the dharma himself with him as his brother. So it must not have been that he had a 100% doubt, but he wanted to reconfirm that he was going to only act as per the dharma, which is acceptable to the Almighty. So he wanted to hear it from the Almighty himself and reassure that he will shoot the first bow only after reconfirming. Is it not why he is having that Vishada as yoga?
See, I repeat, Vishada is yoga.
Was he not really?
You see,
was it really that he was unhappy, or was it that he was telling Krishna he feels unhappy that he may go out of dharma, and he wanted an assurance? Krishna, you tell me. Chadima mam pradbadye, he says later.
He said that, but in the next shloka itself he said, I will not fight. Shadiman tvam prapannam, nahi prapashyami mamapanudyet yachoko mucho shanamindriyanam, avapya bhuma sapatnamuddham rajyam suranam api jadipatyam. All that he said. But in the same adhyay, before Krishna opened his mouth, he first surrendered to Krishna. He said, I am surrendering it to you. I am your Shishya, Shadiman. You advise me what is the best in best interest for me. But before Krishna could open his mouth and give him advice, he took his own unilateral decision and said, I will not fight. Then why did you ask him? Isn't it? So, though Krishna and Arjuna were very close, in 11th adhyay, Arjuna apologized to Krishna that I did not recognize you. Sakheti matva prasamayaduktam. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Sakheti. I called you Krishna, Yadava, Sakha, everything. I never said you are God. He apologized to him in 11th adhyay.
Yes, openly.
So he came to know that he is God only after very, very close association, and after Krishna gave him his Vishwaroop and he gave him this thorough knowledge of all yogas. Otherwise, they were childhood friends. He would have known Krishna right in the childhood itself, but he did not know. That's why he apologized on so many occasions to Krishna and Geeta.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Chandrasekhar ji, please ask your question.
Yeah. Okay, I will just. My question is, it is a general, actually, easy question. In the 8th sloka, Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Krupascha Samitinjaya Ashwathama Vikarnascha Saudatti Stathaivacha. In this one, Karna is not there in the battlefield as of at that time. why Duryodhana is saying to Drona, Karnascha, in our, the Pradhana Yodhas are, all these are there, but Karna is not there. Why he is mentioning Karna name there itself? Bhishma is there, Drona, everyone is there, but Karna is not there. Bhishma, as long as Bhishma is there, Karna will not be there, correct?
Karna is there, of course. Karna is there on Kaurava side, no?
He is there,
And Karna
but in the battlefield, when there is a pratigna by Karna, no, there's some, as long as Bhishma is doing battle, I won't be doing. I think some argument happened between those two people. I think Bhishma and Karna.
true.
Yeah?
Yeah, true. Because Karna's stand was that if
Ah.
I fight the war, when Bhishma is Senapati of Kaurava's army, and if we win the war, the credit will go to Bhishma and not to me. So long as Bhishma is there, I will not fight. But that was only a saying. Did it really happen that way? No, it did not happen that way. When the war started, Karna did fight.
He fighted,
Isn't it?
but he was
He
there
didn't
in
fight.
when Bhishma was there, Karna was there at that time. That is what my question is. Both are together in the field.
Yeah, of course, Karna was there. Bhavan Bhishmasya Karnasya. Bhavan is Dronacharya,
Dronacharya.
Bhishma. Karna was there. Krupacharya was there. Samitinjaya means all were winners.
Oh, yeah.
Samitinjaya means they were winner in all aspects. Whether you do debate on Jnana wisdom or whether you do a war. They are Samitinjaya. All winners all over. Ashwathama, son of Dronacharya. Vikarna, one of the very good Kauravas. So everybody's name is there.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Radha Krishnan ji, you want to ask something? Unmute yourself, Bhaiya.
No, I have got the answer. Sir has already given.
Okay. You raised your hand. Ji, I think anybody wants to ask any question? Bhaiya, I think there is no more questions. So can we move
I
ahead?
repeat, the purpose of first adhyay is to put ourselves in the mindset of Arjuna. Arjuna's mindset and whatever mindset we all have today by way of attachments, by way of attractions, by way of frustrations is the same. So we are all Arjunas, and unless we put ourselves in the role of Arjuna, we cannot understand Gita second adhyay onwards. So first adhyay, we should all become Arjuna, strong devotee of Krishna. And then only we can understand Gita from Ashochanana Shochatsam Pradnyavadanscha Bhachase Gatasu Nagatasuncha Nanu Shochanti Panditaha, second adhyay onwards. So if we really want to learn Gita very well, put ourselves in the role of Arjuna first. Then learn Gita, then it will be a complete learning.
Thank you, Bhaiya. So beautifully you explained. Thank you so much. Now all who are present here, those who are present in Zoom as well as in YouTube platform, I'm highly thankful to them. Thank you, our technical team, for your support. Now let's take prayer. I would like to invite Srimati Trilottama Didi. She is from Bokaro Steel City, Jharkhand. She joined Gita Pariwar in November 2022. Currently, she is giving seva as a co-trainer, technical assistant, group coordinator, TMG, TTG mentor, examiner. Welcome, Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna. Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevam Vrajapriyam Dharma Samsthapakam Viram Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna, Didi. Thank you so much. Now we will chant Hanuman Chalisa.
Shri Guru
सुनु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीनी बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरई हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर गोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।